Ladies and gentlemen, I put the two folk songs written by Hidas into an independent category because they're same important, on my opinion, like the Vaughan Williams, the folk song suite. He uses very old, hundreds of years old folk melodies. But what am I talking about? How does it sound? Let me show you a few excerpts from the second folk song suite. And there are four more sessions like this. And let's take a look at the score. How is it orchestrated? Why is it sounding on the band so beautiful? Here is the score from a distance. And you can see from the distance, oh, it's a big tutti in the beginning. And when you see from the distance, we might see that here is a very important melodic material. Here is a kind of accompaniment. And here is something, a arpeggiation of the harmonic accompaniment. But let's take a little closer look at that, what we have here. And you can see in the melody that here is a four parallel that is characteristics of certain Hungarian folk music. We can see a kind of syncopation accompaniment that is also a characteristics of folk music. There are folk ensembles who are playing that. They even call as duo, and the saxophones are playing an arpeggiation to make sure that the harmony will be equally heard with the melody. I played for you the end of this first session when he modulates to the second one because I think this deserves an extra attention. Here we are. Let me play it again on the piano for you. How he orchestrates that. Just let's take a look at that because we learn a lot from that. Let's see that first when he gives these almost subdominant and dominant chord at the same time with a D on the bass, suggesting that we are moving somewhere, and suddenly he adds chromatically moving down the tubas, and the nice the cornet melody helps with the modulation, and we end up in a C major with a D and E in the horns. And also when you see the saxophones, the most important notes, the E and the D and the G and the C are there, that makes this to sound that beautiful. So the two saxophones and the two horns are playing only this very soft, very warm, nice sound that we have that makes the C major chord warmer because there is a D also. It's not a 9 chord because the 7 is missing from that. It's just a color, a guest note. And when we go to the next folk song, we can see, wow, after this big tutti that we just had in the previous one, you remember here, a huge tutti started. Now we go to a chamber music. One oboe plays the solo with two clarinet accompaniments, just the second and third one. And I suggest to use just one player for it. And after he adds the bassoons and the flute for the second half of the melody, after there is a kind of tutti woodwind material, lots of chromaticism in the accompaniment moving down, and the again, for the next textual part of the song, again, chamber music, even more instruments as a climax. The dynamic shows the forte, ending the horns to that, lots of chromaticism down, 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 and very interesting the end, because now the flute and the oboe plays the melodic material, and in the clarinets, now three, we have a whole note based harmony movement, ending with the flute, showing these are all coming from a beautiful whole note material, C, D, E, the F sharp, A flat, B flat, at the end of the horn, and we modulate it from C major to a cluster of a whole tone. So you can go anywhere where you want from there. This is why Hidash is Hidash, and this is why Hidash sounds totally different than anyone, and this is why this piece is super important in the band. So let me show you how does it sound in the band. Just let's listen to it. Keep this all in your mind what I said and listen to it. This is why Hidash music is Hidash music, and very important. And the contrast you could hear here that the very old melody with the very new harmonical accompaniment took the solo, tonal music, atonal music, everything that possible contrasting you will hear from the dynamical piano till the fortissimo at the beginning, four parallels, solo materials, every kind of contrast that you can imagine. And these were just two out of the five that he applies in this piece. So I hope you like it. I hope you are excited to perform it. And I think you will be very successful with that. And this Hidash piece, such as all others, will remain in the repertoire. I promise. Gems of the band repertoire. And I will talk to you about the concertos very soon. Thank you for your attention.